I want to just pick up with you on a few remarks that we've been hearing from the new Brexit Secretary, Dominic Grieve, who's been kind of setting out his vision, if you like, talking a lot about no deal. He didn't deny reports this morning that the government is making plans to stockpile food in the event of a no deal. I mean, are you relieved that the government's making these preparations, or are you worried that they're actually even talking about the fact of no deal at all?
I think no deal would be absolutely catastrophic for this country. Clearly, if the government thinks there's a risk of no deal, it's right to take emergency measures. But, we've got to be realistic about this. We will be in a state of emergency. Basic services which we take for granted might not be available. It wouldn't be possible, for example, for somebody to fly to Rome because the overflying rights over the other countries of the European Union are regulated by EU law. We wouldn't get medicines in. This point has already been made. We'd be out of the Medicines Agency, and there would be difficulties bringing food into this country because of the number of regulatory checks that would take place.
I mean, some people will be listening to this saying, this is ridiculous, it sounds like scaremongering.
Well, I don't think it is scaremongering. It's just another way of looking at it is that it is so serious that one would rather hope that even if we're unable to reach any agreement with the EU on the economic framework, we would still at the last minute put together some side deals to address some of these issues. But you've got to understand that the language of some of my colleagues at Westminster is that they actively are seeking no deal because they are so absolutely fixated on leaving the European Union without any ties or obligations at all. Well, if that is what they want to pursue, then they themselves will be the people who precipitate this particular crisis.
They might say that actually, they would like a deal, but they just don't like the deal that's on the table, and they think that no deal would be better than the Chequers arrangement.
I find it difficult to see how the no deal, which involves this sort of national emergency, is going to be better than a deal on offer. But do bear in mind, there are two issues on no deal. One is that the EU won't give us a deal, or a deal which is very bad. We've got to wait and see what the Prime Minister can get through the negotiating process. The second one is you actively want to precipitate a no deal, which I'm afraid some of them want to do. And as I've said on a number of occasions, I'm pretty determined to stop that from happening.
How are you going to stop that from happening? Because from an outsider, it looks as if the Brexiteers have had a rather good week. They're the ones who've managed to successfully get their amendments to Theresa May's Chequers deal through. You're the ones that she's managed to face down and effectively ignore.
It seems to me that this matter goes outside of party. The question is, will Parliament or would Parliament assert its view in this matter? I mean, I have very little doubt in my mind that there is a very substantial majority of members of the House of Commons who both wish to be loyal to their own parties, but at the same time are fairly clear in their mind that a no-deal Brexit precipitated by a small minority of MPs would be completely unacceptable. But inevitably, as you start working through a political process, I wish to be a loyal member of my own party. So I certainly don't wish to undermine the Prime Minister. But I suppose the message I try to get out is that whilst I wish to help the Prime Minister achieve some satisfactory outcome to what is in fact a growing national crisis in many ways, Brexit is full of challenges and risks, even if we get a deal. So while I'm very prepared to help her do that, and I see it as my absolute duty, I also have duties as a Member of Parliament towards my electorate to ensure that we don't end up in what could be a very bad place. And I shall have to weigh that up as the autumn and the winter continue.